Okay guys, I just wanted to do a sound comparison video of the Octane 9 and the Octane 45. Both of these are Silencerco SWR, and this video is not intended to be some sort of competition or 9 versus 45 or anything like that. It's really more or less for guys who are thinking that they want a pistol suppressor, or maybe just don't have the budget to go out and buy a bunch of different caliber pistol suppressors, and they're looking to do maybe one and see how the sub calibers sound like going through it, like getting a 45 and running a 40 through it, 9mm, 300 blackout, 22, or what have you. So we're going to be running a series of tests with the 9 and the 45. Keep in mind, whenever you see the suppressor with the yellow tape, that will be the SWR Octane 9. As you can see, it's a little bit shorter, but in video, next to other, it's really hard to pick up that 3/4 of an inch difference. So whenever you see the yellow tape, keep in mind that will be the 9mm suppressor. We will be comparing them next to a very quiet 22 suppressor. This is a SWR Spectre 2. We'll also be running 300 blackout through them. This is the AAC SDN6. To me, this is more or less the benchmark for 300 blackout. So through the testing, we'll see how these two pistol suppressors sound in comparison to a benchmark 300 blackout subsonic suppressor. Also too, I'll be running some 45 through the Osprey 45. One of the benefits to the Octane series are they're user serviceable. The Osprey is not a user serviceable can, so it's really frowned upon to put 22 long rifle. 22 is very dirty ammo, and you really don't want to put that through a suppressor that you can't get in clean and maintain. So there you have it, guys. We're going to be running a series of tests just to see where these fall in line. So let's see what happens. Alright, we're testing the 45 Octane against the 45 Osprey. Octane in the background, Osprey in the foreground. Okay guys, we just saw the Octane 45 shot next to the Osprey 45, and as you can tell, there was a little bit difference in sound. The Octane did sound a little bit better than the Osprey. They're totally different designs. We got a monocore suppressor that typically will have a louder first round pop, and the K style baffles of this click together assembly in the Octane, you'll usually get a little bit better performance out of those. But as far as some of the pros and cons to each of them, you get a little bit lighter, a little bit shorter, and you have an off-axis bore that allows you to use pretty much any standard sight without any type of sight obstruction. With Octane, you get a little better performance. It's a little bit heavier, a little bit longer, and it is user serviceable. So definitely some pros and cons that help sway you one way or the other, but both are outstanding suppressors. Alright, we're testing the 9mm octane against the 45 octane, both shooting 9mm. The one with the yellow tape is the 9mm can, the one without is the 45 can. These are both 147 grain Spear Lawman. Okay guys, we just saw the Octane 9 shot next to the Octane 45, both shooting 9mm. I was pretty surprised on this one at how well the Octane 45 suppressed the 9mm. As you can tell, there's not a whole lot of difference in length. You know, basically the same type of click together assembly construction, about the same number of baffles. The Octane 45 is about 3/4 of an inch longer, and obviously just a much bigger bore diameter, but I was really surprised at how close they were in sound. I really expected there to be a bigger difference with the 45, so as far as shooting subcalibers with the shooting 9 through the 45 octane, it sounds every bit as good as the 9mm did. So there you go. Okay, this is a test of the M&P 40 Smith & Wesson on the Octane 45 against the M&P 9mm on the Octane 9. So it's just a test of a 40 through a 45 compared to a 9 through a 9mm. Expected more of a difference. Okay guys, we just saw the 40 cal test. We had 40 Smith & Wesson through the 45 can and 9mm through the Octane 9. Again, very surprised here that these two were close. The 40 was sharper, but I expected more of a gap between the two, because 147 grain through a 9mm suppressor sounds fantastic, and I haven't had a lot of luck in finding a 40 cal round that consistently says subsonic. We had a couple that had a little sharper pop through the Octane 45, but this Octane 45 did a much better job at suppressing the 40 than we did at one time we did some videos of 40 cal through the Osprey 45, and without a doubt 40 cal through the 45 Octane sounded much better than through the 45 Osprey. Alright, we're doing a test of a SWR Spectre 2 up against the SWR Octane 9, just to get an idea what it sounds like compared to a very quiet 22 suppressor. These are both Walther hosts, and this is Remington Subsonic. Alright, we just saw the SWR Spectre 2 against the SWR Silencerco Octane 9. This was one that surprised me. This 9mm Octane got very close to the 22 suppressor. This is a very, very quiet 22 suppressor, and this 9mm can got very close. With, you know, obviously when you're looking at them, much longer, much more internal volume. So I'm going to have to say, you know, that the length and the volume made up for the difference in your bore diameter. So as far as the Octane suppressed in 22, sounds great. Okay, now we're testing the Spectre 2 against the Octane 45. Both Walther, Remington Subsonic. Okay guys, we just watched the SWR Spectre 2 shot next to the Octane 45. As you could tell with this one, the Octane 45 just didn't get as quiet as the 22. And didn't get as quiet as its 9mm little brother. Alright, we've got the 9 versus the 45, both on Walther 22s, both Remington Subsonic. As you can tell, the 9 was a little bit quieter than the 45, but both were very quiet. I guess with this, with a much larger bore diameter, that extra internal volume and length just couldn't make up for that bore diameter to bullet circumference ratio. Surprisingly, you know, the 9mm not being, you know, all that much difference, stayed in the same ballpark as the 22 suppressor, but the the 45, it just crept up there and got a little louder because of that larger bore diameter. But shooting this thing on a 16-inch gun, totally different ball game. This thing got super quiet. We shot it on a 16-inch gun. I mean, really all you were hearing is action. So as far as shooting it on a 16-inch gun, very competitive with the 22 suppressor. But shooting these little short barrels, it's too extreme of a test. These little 4-inch barrels, you know, you're just pushing too much noise out too quick. With that 16-inch barrel, it gives it a little more hang time and allows that much larger bore circumference to quiet you down. So yeah, definitely 16-inch gun, sure. 22 pistol, not so much. Okay guys, we're going to test the AAC SDN6 300 blackout against the SWR 45 300 blackout. These are both 16-inch barrels. They're different host weapons, but they're 16-inch single shot, so you won't have any action interference or anything like that. The 300 blackout through SDN6 against the 300 blackout subsonic through the Octane 45, and this didn't quite fare as well as the Octane 9. Still got it down pretty quiet. Still not as quiet as the SDN6 or the Octane 9, but you know, with that bore diameter, you know, you're losing some of that suppression ability. Did it still make it super quiet? Absolutely. But it just didn't fare as well as its little brother, the Octane 9, and you know, just didn't fare as well as the SDN6. So again, you go with that larger bore to accept more calibers, and you lose just a little bit of your suppression ability. Alright, we're doing the same test, AAC SDN6 300 blackout against the SWR 9mm 300 blackout. Both 16-inch barrels, 300 blackout subsonic. Say that was quieter than the 45.
This one sounded good.
Okay, we had the 300 blackout subsonic test of the Octane 9 against the AAC SDN6, and these were very close to one another. This is just an outstanding 300 blackout can. And as far as I know, this was one of the cans that were basically designed for the 300 blackout. For me, this is the benchmark for 300 blackout, and this got very, very close to that. Obviously this is a rifle suppressor. This will suppress 308. You know, and this isn't going to do anything rifle, but considerably lighter. If you were just wanting to do a 300 blackout subsonic build, then no reason, you know, why you wouldn't want just a much lighter suppressor. As you can see, pretty much the same size. Obviously this one is a lot lighter than the SDN6, and really very close in comparison in the sound. Okay, now we're trying the Octane 45 against the 9mm Octane, both 300 blackout subsonic, 16-inch barrels. Nine is sounding considerably different. Okay, we had the Octane 9 against the Octane 45 in the 300 blackout. Obviously the Octane 9 was a clear winner in this department. Obviously it has everything to do with the bore circumference to the bullet diameter ratio there. So again, a little more caliber potential, a little more suppression potential, fewer caliber options. We're testing the Octane 45 on a full auto M11. Okay, this is the Octane 9 on a full auto M11. These are 158 PPU through an M11 Octane 9. Way different on the gas, wasn't it?
I don't have my eyes aren't burning at all.
Okay guys, so we just saw how the Octane 9 and Octane 45 reacted to full auto. As with the 9mm test earlier, there is not a whole lot of difference between the 9 and the 45 shooting the 147 grain subsonic. The difference is so subtle that you really can't pick up on it. We were also curious to find out whether the tighter bore circumference of the 9mm maybe added more blowback or maybe even increased the cyclic rate. And as far as that, we really couldn't pick up too much of anything. We did run several different ammos and did notice some subtle differences there, but again, it's not some night or day difference. It's very, very minor. As far as more blowback, there seemed to be a little more gas coming back through the weapon, getting into your face with the 9mm. Obviously, with that smaller bore diameter, less gas is escaping the front of the weapon and more is being contained or pushed back in to the weapon that ends up in your face. So maybe a slight advantage with the 45 shooting full auto, but again, very subtle differences. But both really tamed that full auto, just outstanding. So final thoughts on the multi-caliber testing of the Octane series. It's really just going to boil down to physics. The closer you get your bullet circumference to the suppressor's bore diameter, you know, the better sound quality of suppression you'll get. With the Octane 45, 45, 40, and 9mm sounds great. If you're doing blackout, the 9mm definitely sounded better, and if you're running 22, pistols were just a little bit louder. If you're running a 16-inch gun, sounds fantastic. So you know, that's something to consider. As far as the Octane 9, you know, it basically picks up right where this one leaves off at 9mm. 9mm, 300 blackout, 22, all sounds great. So hope that's something that can help you guys in your decision process. There again, you know, this video wasn't intended to be any type of comparison or competition. It's really just try to help those of you who may be looking into buying a suppressor and you're not sure where to begin. But this Octane, both the 9mm Octane and the 45 Octane, just outstanding performance with both of them. So there you have it, guys. Hope this can help some of you out, and thanks for watching.